How to optimize the auction house in Legion. One question that many new auction house players seem to have is what stack size to use to optimize your sell potential and your profit margin. In this auction house guide, I'll show you what you need to make the most gold in the easiest possible way. Many players choose stacks that are either too big or too small. Now I'll explain how to pick the best stack size and how to get the most profit from those who get it wrong. Don't miss anything. Click on the subscribe button below. Ask yourself a few important questions before you post anything or decide on a stack size. 1. Are you selling consumables that the buyer will need a lot of during their raid or dungeon, such as, for example, a potion? Number 2. Are you selling something that lasts for a longer period of time, such as a flask? Number 3. Will they use this to mass produce a craft? And number 4. Is the item that you're selling something that they need a small number of in order to craft a specific recipe or item? When you list an item for mass crafting or profession leveling, then I would suggest a larger stack would work well. For Legion material, I see them sell quicker in stacks of 200, and I would suggest if you have multiple stacks of 200, that you break up one stack and sell it in stacks of 50, which would also sell very quickly. Are you selling older materials, for example, from previous expansions? If so, I find that when selling the older materials, it's best to do so in stacks of 20, 50, 100, and 200. Especially to those who are leveling a profession and may not have a lot of gold to work with. I've noticed that since Legion started, the older material have sold in smaller numbers, like the ones I mentioned here above, and they've sold better than before. Materials that are used for a specific recipe is good. It's a good idea to list them in a useful stack size to be more convenient for the buyer. And the one thing you always want to keep in mind is that if the buyer is inconvenienced by your stack size, then the buyer will go elsewhere. Therefore, your first thought should always be of the buyer. For example, Living Still is best posted in stacks of 4 for use in making the Jewel Craft and Panther mount. Trillium bars are best sold in stacks of 6 or multiples of 6 for transmute masters to use in making Living Still. Other examples would be listing enchants and cut gems. Now you're always going to want to list these items, the enchants and gems, as a single item auction. Most buyers will only buy the gem or enchants one at a time. This allows them to enhance their gear easier and for a cheaper cost than buying multiples of these items. Now by listing the items at an optimized price and stack size, you can add a markup and still sell it even if someone else is selling it for cheaper than you are. Buying herbs, leather, and cloth if the stack is 50, 100, or 200 and the price is right, then reselling it is always a good idea. The convenience of buying a lot of herbs in stacks of 200 rather than individually or in small stacks tempts the buyer to pay a little extra to save the time and the clicks. Now, always check the price of the small stacks and consider buying them up to combine into larger stacks and sell at a markup. Even if you don't do bespoke, always check the price of the optimal stack size when undercutting another seller. You can even do this automatically if you have Trade Skill Master. Just check the match stack size box and it'll do all the work for you. It'll only look for auctions of the same stack size as you have when you're calculating your price to post at. Now, one thing I do highly suggest, if you see that someone has posted 25 or 100 of stacks of 1, 2, or even 5 or 10, go ahead and buy those up, sell them as a larger stack, make a profit. Always be thinking, though, about how your customer will want to use the items when you're posting them on the auction house. And by doing so, you'll find that you can increase both your numbers of sales and your profit. Tell me down below in the comment section if you have any tips for new auction house players. Is there any trick that you use to make just a little bit more gold out of each sale? Also, if you are a new auction house user, if you have any questions, be sure to ask down below, and I'll be positive to try to answer you as quick as possible. But for now, that's going to wrap this video up. Be sure to give a thumbs up. If you've not already subscribed, be sure to go ahead and do that. And as always, have a great day.